Just admiring our newest baby.
Yeah.
The Hot Toys 1/6 scale rescue figure. I'm still afraid of her.
Yep.
So that's the best I can pose her at the moment.
It has been less than 20 minutes, so you're allowed to still be afraid.
Yeah. She lights up and all that, and I want to do all the like whoo whoo. But yeah, I'm excited. If you want to see that, our unboxing link below.
Somewhere, yeah.
Hello, everybody. I am Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching the Show, your twice weekly pop culture podcast where we talk about movies, TV, music, and more. And as always, this is a spoiler show, so you have been warned.
Do you just keep doing that because Will keeps doing close-ups of it?
Kind of.
Okay.
I also want to offer variety.
Oh, sure.
On today's episode, we're going to cover the 2020 American science fiction romantic black comedy film.
Too many.
I'm back at the Wikipedia stage. Yeah. Spontaneous, written and directed by Brian Duffield.
What's going to happen to us? E.T.
Elliot.
Okay, we are just stans at this point.
Who is he?
The babysitter.
Oh, okay.
No, hold on. There's
Why did it say like
so many
debut?
More. No.
In his directorial debut.
Yes, but Underwater, Love and Monsters, The Babysitter. There was one other one.
This felt like his name was familiar.
No, that's it. Both babysitters, yeah.
I saw this on a list of movies that was like the best movies you didn't see. And that's how I found some of my favorite movies. Yep. And we had it on our list and we've been very busy. Things are in a slight period of transition. And you were like, hey, let's just finally do Spontaneous. Yep. And so we did.
We also really like Katherine Langford. I am like a low-key Piper Perabo fan.
Well,
she doesn't get a lot to do in this movie, but
Haley Law, Charlie Plummer, Yvonne Orji. There was someone else.
Rob Hubel.
Oh yeah, Rob Hubel. Yeah. Oh, was this video on demand? I bought it.
I watched this on Hulu.
Oh,
it's streaming on Hulu.
It was $5 on Amazon, so I bought it. But it kind of reminded me of Warm Bodies.
I see that.
It's one of those like kind of comedy, horror, fantasy, not really fantasy, but like.
It's not even really horror.
It's not scary. I mean, if you're squeamish, there's a lot of blood.
Sure. I would say that I think the defining factor is that you don't actually see any of it for the most part. No, you see a lot of blood, but you don't see
it
like,
at the
thing.
end, towards the end. So anyways, it's about a girl, Mara. She's a high school senior and they're in school and one of their classmates just explodes. Yeah. Spontaneously combusts.
What are some of the points that do so? Now, let's see maybe if X is one.
Caitlin Ogden was a lot of things, but she wasn't particularly explosive.
Well, it's also so weird, too, because it's like nothing happened to the clothes, nothing happened to the desk. So it wasn't like a bomb explosion. It was just like her body exploded or like almost imploded.
It's like in True Blood when they knife the vampires.
Okay, sure.
Because that's a plot point where they're trying to figure out if she was like a suicide bomber at first because there was no scorch marks. There was no ash.
Well, there was no bomb. There was no damage to anything except for her physical body. That's it.
This happens 2 or 3 times. It's all concentrated in this particular senior class. And the government comes in and quarantines them and starts working. They're trying to find out what's happening and starts working on an antidote. Yeah. They create a pill. Hilariously, they're calling it snooze control.
The snooze button.
Or the snooze button.
Yeah. Snooze control would probably have been better, actually.
The snooze button. Which is really, really rude. It has a very Sudden Valley vibe to it.
It does have a very Sudden Valley vibe.
It implies that,
something might happen all of a sudden.
Yvonne Orji has a very interesting, very funny role. She's one of the like detectives or whatever. And she's very matter of fact about the whole. A lot of people are actually very matter of fact about it in a way that was that aids and adds to the comedy and humor, and frankly, the message of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
The snooze button, it implies that it's going to happen, that it's inevitable.
You're just delaying it.
You're just delaying this as long as possible until you reach this point. We get one of our favorite things where we do sort of get this like vast high school mythos. They refer to a lot of kids by their first and last names, which is a very high school thing.
Yep.
I loved.
Hi, Megan Kim.
I loved all of the Perry Love, and like it was
We Love Cox.
Steve Cox.
Yeah.
Perry Love in particular, he was gay.
Yeah.
And there's a very funny scene at the like memorial where Steve Cox was my favorite.
Okay.
He was doing like the tribute to Perry at his memorial, and he was like, he was our gay bro, and because we're progressive like that. And we see Mara find out that Perry was gay.
And when my bro came out to us in 6th grade, we loved him.
Oh, come on.
Because he was our best bro. And we're progressive like that.
And she's like, what?
I do love that. There were moments like that one especially, and like at the first funeral, and like when the group of kids were like writing the names of the first girl who died, Caitlin, on the shirt, and I was like, is this gonna go to like a Heather's place? And it didn't totally go to a Heather's place, but it wasn't not doing a Heather's thing, which I liked.
The crux of the movie is that this senior class is sort of trying to continue their lives, all with this impending sense of doom lingering over them. And so we get Charlie Plummer. What was his name?
Dylan.
Dylan basically confesses to Mara that he's had a crush on her, and they embark on this teenage courtship. It's very funny. It's a little hip. It's a little hip for its own good.
So it's a little hip. It's a little YA. This is based on a book. So Brian Duffield wrote the screenplay. So this is based on a book.
Because it also was reminding me of Tiny Pretty Things.
The map of tiny perfect things.
Sure.
Yeah, I see that though. So it is kind of like that. It's got some YA stuff. They're both a little too cool for school. They're both kind of outcasts, but
they have references that are just a hair out of their reach. But
where like
for 35-year-old us, it's perfect.
Like he says something when she first walks in the room after the first girl explodes, and she sort of laughs, and everybody else is just like stone-faced and devastated, and you see like that's how they're gonna like connect or whatever. So it's super cute. I think he is precious. I've seen him in a handful of things. I watched a couple episodes of Looking for Alaska. His lips. Yeah. He is so cute. They're very cute together. They have good chemistry. She's a decent amount older than him, but it doesn't feel weird. They don't feel incorrectly paired.
I was more thrown by her wig. I just don't know why she was
not a very good
why
wig.
She was wearing a wig, and why it was such a dry wig.
Yeah, it was pretty dry.
That was more so the issue for me. But we also had Haley Law, who is another low-key stan of ours.
Yep.
Or
we are stans. She's never heard of us.
Of hers.
But we always wanted her to get more on.
Well, she's got a bunch of material in season 1 of Riverdale, and then never again.
Never again. But she's got such a cool face, and she's like always got really amazing hair, and she's so good at her job. And
I really liked their friendship throughout the entire movie.
Because she's a little bit weird too.
Yeah. Well, I like that whole thing about how like their life goal, they're best friends from childhood, and their life goal is to own a house, a beachfront house where they can be weird old ladies and smoke hookahs together. And
there are worse goals.
We should all be so lucky.
There are worse goals for sure.
We're halfway there.
Yeah.
Their relationships are very interestingly and intricately balanced through Mara's with Dylan, and then with Tess. I really enjoyed the sense of humor. There are several scenes where they're in lockdown, and of course a couple people are frantic, which understandable. But aside from the whole like spontaneous combustion thing, it actually felt pretty sweet.
Yeah, like a vacation.
Locked in a bunker with your high school class.
Yeah, like summer camp. Like not a lot of adult supervision with your boyfriend.
This is the kind of movie that you wonder, at least I did. I wondered, are we going to get an explanation for what's happening? We do not.
Nope.
I wondered what it means. And there's, I think like many stories, many plots, many movies, it means many things. But there was in particular a moment where they were in the quarantine and they were talking about the government cares about you, Washington. They say Washington several times, all this stuff. And I thought it really was giving me school shootings.
Sure. Yeah.
It was really giving me sort of the way, like a commentary on the disillusionment we, especially young people, have towards this incessant threat of violence.
Yeah.
And how,
well, and also the disillusionment of that anything is going to happen,
and that anything
at this point,
and they're saying it's going to. They're trying.
Well, that government guy goes so far as to say, "Our thoughts and prayers are with you," and literally every student is like, pardon, I don't believe you.
You have every reason to be angry, but I just want all of you to know that you have all of our thoughts and prayers.
I don't want that shit unless it works.
If you can't fix us, then just tell us. We have too many ass clowns lying to us as it is.
There's an episode of South Park just called Dead Kids. And the episode goes like normal. Like they're talking about normal, everyday South Park plots. But there's constantly a shooter in the school.
Oh, God.
People are running around screaming and teachers are locking off doors. But the kids are like arguing about their math test.
How do we solve this first one? Add together the 3 and the 3. Good, Butters. We add the 3s together. And what about the 4s? Token?
They're the denominators, so they stay a 4.
It's
chilling
and
real
hilarious.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean,
funny,
it's called gallows humor.
Sure.
Don't at me. But and it continues through the episodes following it. Anytime the camera shows like the town or the outside of the school, you can just hear gunfire and screaming, but no one reacts like it's
an issue. Yeah.
That was sort of what I was thinking about it. And in particular, like I said, the jadedness of the kids. Not super in-depth, but very interesting dynamic between Mara and her parents.
Yeah.
Piper Perabo and Rob Huebel. In particular, Rob Huebel.
Yeah.
He's really good in this.
He was really strangely good in this in a way that I was like, you're just that guy who's like a dum-dum, like in everything. And I love him for that.
Salutha. You've kept it tight. Heidi, we no longer want to hit that. Get off MILF Island.
But I mean, there was like a level of nuance in this.
There's no Call Me By Your Name scene.
No.
But Piper Perabo as the mother takes a slight backseat to the father. He's initiating a lot of stuff.
She's also, as much as I love her, this is like a way more standard mom in a YA thing, parent. So it's like nothing against Piper Perabo. She does it well. But that is kind of one of those things where it's like weirdly Rob Huebel is the standout adult in this movie.
It was just an interesting family dynamic. I loved Mara's descent into alcoholism.
Oh, yeah.
You have my brand new cocktail, which I've called All My Friends and Boyfriend Are Dead.
Well, I have a couple of questions.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
No, please don't.
You can have the next one.
Okay.
And how everyone around, including her parents, are sort of just like,
well, what are we supposed to do?
Not equipped to deal with this.
I know, right?
Like, there's a scene of her just robbing a grocery store, like just stealing liquor.
She's just got like 2 bottles.
And everyone's just sort of like waiting for her to leave.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, if we don't move, she can't see
Can't
us.
see us.
So there's a crucial moment where she does lose Dylan. He combusts, which I was wondering which one of them was going to.
Yeah, he's less famous than her.
I didn't know how the narrative would shift. Like, it would be jarring if we finished the movie in his perspective.
Yes. Yeah.
And considering the combusting happens a lot and we lose a lot of the characters we come to know, the final count was like 13, right?
Yeah, it's not very high, but it's like more than you ever want to know about. Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, Steve Cox, that was it, right?
None of their last names are listed on IMDb.
Yeah, Steve Cox. He was my favorite. He's the first one we actually have the camera on when it happens because his legs kind of go poof.
Yeah.
This is bullshit.
And he was just so good. And there's a kid in like a homemade hazmat suit at one point, and he explodes in the suit. But since he's done such a good job with his homemade hazmat suit, he just kind of turns into one of those wacky inflatable arm flailing.
Yeah.
Like he just kind of like
collapses. It's pretty tough.
It's very funny and shocking, you know? And so back to her descent into alcoholism, everybody knows what she's going through and what she's lost. And the collective, you know, them as a group and then her as an individual. And, you know, she has an interesting scene with Tess where Tess is going to school and she's like, why?
Yeah. What's
like,
the point?
Tess is sort of like,
what the hell else am I going to do?
Am I going to do what you're doing? You know? And I was really sort of impressed. And one of my bigger takeaways was the role of the parents. There is a beautiful scene.
Yeah.
I was waiting for, wanted it.
I wasn't waiting for it, but I was like, at some point, she has to talk to Dylan's mom.
Well, especially because Dylan's mom called her to
like see if she wanted to talk. And I was like, that's very sweet. Because also we find out that Dylan's mom is now completely alone because her husband had a heart attack before she and Dylan moved to this town.
That scene is hilarious because Rob Hubel, her dad, comes in and was like, Dylan's mom called. She wanted to check on you. And she just in slow motion kind of rolls. She's consumed in the duvet.
Covers, yeah.
She rolls off the bed and then under the bed.
Yeah.
And we cut back to that several times that it appears she sleeps under like that's her safety place, which I mean, who hasn't been there?
Fair enough.
Dylan's mom called for you. She just wanted to see how you're doing.
I find young love, I'm very fascinated by that coming of age, teenage love. I remember it. I love how simultaneously different and the same it is for so many people.
Oh, yeah. I get sort of frustrated by it. I mean, this, I think, was a good telling of it that didn't make me frustrated because she was reacting appropriately because there were other outside factors. But it's like, sometimes I get a little frustrated because I'm like, you have to relax, though. Like, I know it's your first love and it's very intense, but like, you're going to be fine after.
Well, and I mean, with the parents, like you get this sense of the parents trying to take ownership of their kids in this weird way, or they're being like, we see so often when the parents don't like the boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. And so there was just something about, she goes to the prom, again, pours an entire bottle of tequila into the punch, staring
dead in the eyes,
staring two of the chaperones dead in the eyes, and they just let her. Then she picks up the bowl of punch and carries it to the bleachers and starts drinking it with the ladle.
So funny. That's the thing. There were so many like visually funny moments in this movie. Like
Catherine's
she is also really okay. I like her so much and I think she's so great. And I feel like it had to have been an issue with like the entire production of Cursed because I found her sort of like a wet noodle in that. But like, I don't think I even knew how funny she was. She's so funny.
And so then we get to the scene. She meanders into the graveyard and finds his grave and lays down at it. And because doesn't it say like, I'll always be here?
I'll be right here.
I'll be right here.
It's from E.T.
Okay, right. And so his mother shows up because at first I assume it's going to be her mom. And I was like, I mean, yes, obviously, but
but there's no indication she has a bad relationship with her parents. So we don't need that come to Jesus moment with her parents.
Well, the fact that it was his mother and the fact that the two of them understood and appreciated each other's role in his life. And it's just the pretty standard, you know, mountains rise, cities fall, life goes on kind of thing.
It's just life. I'm sure he didn't deserve it. None of you deserve this. But deserve's got nothing to do with it.
It's a good line.
I stole it from Clint Eastwood.
Oh.
They have this beautiful moment, and then that ultimately kind of ends up being it.
Yeah.
She goes home and makes amends with her parents and finishes school and then goes off to college. And
his milk truck.
Mm-hmm. And there's this kind of a little bit, I don't know if pretentious is the word, but there's this kind of, monologue at the end.
Yeah, it was not my favorite. It's like, obviously she was swearing. They were all swearing the whole time. There's a lot of fucks in the very end. And I'm just like, it's fine. I get your point. But I also don't think she was going to college. I think she was just going away.
About.
Yeah.
Out and
also,
about.
I choose to believe that she did end up just in a California beach house with Haley Law. I like that.
They never got an explanation. They never found out. They thought that they had this antidote right. And then there was the mass explosion.
There were like 10 at once.
Where we lost Steve Cox.
Yeah.
And the government was sort of like, well, it was a fluke. That was a bad batch. And now it's good. And so.
To which she says, I kind of think they just wanted to make me buy drugs from them the rest of my life.
Presumably for the rest of this crop of kids' lives, at any moment they could explode.
Yeah.
I will say as upsetting and gory and graphic as it is, it did not seem to be particularly trying for the person.
No, it seemed very immediate. No
concept
warning.
of what happened. They didn't seem to be in pain.
No, very immediate. No warning, no pain. Sort of just like blowing up for real.
Yeah, there was a slight "we should be so lucky" quality for me. It was more stressful, more jarring for those around, which death frequently is.
Yep. That's the kind of thing that I sort of liked, is it's a little bit of an examination of grief, and it's a little bit of a live your life to the fullest now while you can, because who knows, you might explode tomorrow, and that. I kind of dig that. Those are both messages I can get behind.
Yeah, all in all, I really loved it, and I feel like there's a real solid crop of movies out there like this, most of which were written by Brian Duffield.
Yeah, evidently. Props, man. Very
I followed him on Twitter.
I did too.
Yeah. Hit us up.
Yeah.
We have a coming of age, a high concept coming of age fantasy story for you. Yvonne Orji was very good. Everybody was very good.
When Katherine Langford comes out of the store she's just robbed, the liquor store she's just robbed, and then she breaks one of the bottles, and then she tosses the other one in her direction, thinking for some reason that she's going to catch it, that Yvonne Orji's going to catch it. And it just smashes into the back of her patrol car and breaks the back windshield. And they both are just kind of like, oops, I don't know.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Cannot wait for more.
Yeah. I thought it was sweet, even, allowing for all of the, gore. I thought it was a sweet movie. I thought it was
mostly blood. It's not even real. I mean, I guess there's a little bit of viscera, but
yeah,
it's just some good old fashioned teenagers exploding into piles of goo.
It's fine. It's it's so over the top that to me it's inconsequential. Check it out.
8 out of 10.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's streaming on Hulu. Will bought it, so do yourself a favor.
$4.99 on Amazon Prime.
Go watch it. It's blessedly a tight hour and 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Yeah. All around thumbs up.
You can visit our Patreon, patreon.com/so I'm watching this show.
Yeah, you can follow us on Twitter @So I'm Watching or Instagram @So I'm Watching This Show. And we also have a website that links out to everything. We
need to implement our little tip jar. We need to do that too.
Yes, we will also be including a tip jar or a PayPal or a Cash App or a Venmo or something.
Give me my money. I have to buy wine.
Yeah. Will's buying shit. Will's buying
I'm poor.
This movie, this doll, all over the place.
I really don't have money.
We need to supplement our income.
It's an illusion, Michael.
Yeah, it is an illusion. So yeah, definitely, if you like what you see, throw us a couple bucks. We'll be making more if we can. And then other than that, just like and subscribe to this video and our channel. And that's it.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye love. Bye-bye sweet caress. Hello emptiness. I feel like I could die. Bye-bye your life goodbye.